Hey, this is Sharon with Sharon's Backyard Bistro, and tonight we are making an easy, budget-friendly recipe that will satisfy the appetites of your heartiest eaters. So let's get started. We're going to add 1 pound of lean ground beef. And we're going to cook this ground beef, if you can hear me, until it's about halfway cooked before we add our onions and our garlic. And I use a very lean ground beef. We get our beef from a local beef farmer. So my beef is about 90-10. So I choose this lean beef just so I won't have as much excess fat. So if you do get more like an 80-20 or a 90-10, well, that's what I have is 90-10, but an 85-15, you might want to drain your grease. So I suggest if you can get a leaner cut of beef, that would be great. So let's get this cooked, and then we will add our onion and garlic. Okay, we have cooked our beef for about 4 minutes, so it's about halfway to the total browning point. And I'm going to add 1 cup, and this is a small diced onion. And I'm going to cook the onion in with our ground beef for about 3 or 4 minutes. We don't want to add our garlic yet. We want to add that the very last thing because, you know, if you cook the garlic and it was to get burnt or really, really dark, maybe not burnt, you will get a bitter taste, and we don't want that for our garlic. So we're going to cook this right here for about another 2 minutes, and then we will add our garlic. Okay, we have cooked our onions for about 3 minutes total, and now we're going to add our 2 cloves of minced garlic. And we're going to cook this for about another minute. Okay, so we have our ground beef. It's been browned. We have our onion, which is nice and translucent. I have cooked my garlic for about a minute. Now it's time to go ahead and season up our beef mixture. So I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit. I like to use kosher salt, a little bit of kosher salt, and a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. And I like the pepper medley. It has black, pink, and green, and some white peppercorns in there. So I'm going to add that. And now it's time to start our gravy. So we are going to add a half a stick of butter. Let that get good and melted. Okay, so our butter is melted. Now we are going to add 4 tablespoons of flour. We put four tablespoons of butter, so we want to put the same ratio of flour in this mixture. And you want to sort of stir this around and get the flour mixed in. You want to do that because you can normally smell the flour when you first add it to something like this. So you want to stir it around until you can't smell that flour smell any longer. The meat and all that sort of absorbs that flour smell. Okay, and now it's done that. I don't smell it. Now I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, because remember we have our fresh garlic in there. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of onion powder and 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, so we're gonna get that stirred around. So we're sort of making like a roux within our meat mixture for our gravy. It's nice and thick. It smells delicious. Okay, now I'm gonna switch spoons because I want to make sure that I get all of the good dried things and the spices and the flavors on the bottom of the skillet. So we're going to add 1.5 cups of beef broth. And I went ahead, before I started cooking my meat, I went ahead and I put in, let me see if I can find it in there. Oh, there it is. I went ahead and dropped 1 beef bouillon cube in there so it could start dissolving. So now I'm going to pour 1.5 cups of beef broth over my meat mixture. And there's the little bouillon cube, so don't get upset if it hasn't disintegrated yet. It's not a big deal. It will dissolve. Okay. I'm going to give this a stir and just sort of scrape with, I'm using a silicone scraper, but you want to sort of scrape all the yummies off of the bottom of your skillet, because actually that's where your flavor comes from. Okay, so if you have some burnt spots on your skillet, you know, from cooking, don't be afraid with it. Just when you do add your liquids in there, just sort of scrape them up because they come with loads of flavor. Okay, so we've added our bouillon and our beef broth. Now I'm going to add 1/2 cup of I apologize. This is 1/2 cup of whipping cream. You can use 1/2 if you'd like, but I have whipping cream. I normally keep it on hand. So we are going to add that. And basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to just mix this around. I'm gonna let it come up to a boil, not a hard boil, but a boil. And I'm gonna let it simmer. Now, you can leave it on a light bubble. It will just thicken up and basically concentrate more if you leave it up, you know, at a steady bubble. I'm gonna bring this up to a little light boil, and then I'm going to simmer it for just a little bit and let all those flavors just marry and get to know one another, and that makes it a delicious meal. Okay, we have our hamburger gravy finished. I'm gonna do one last thing, and that is put about a tablespoon of dried parsley on top, just to add a little color to our dish. And then we are going to plate it up, and let's see what the finished product looks like. And I have a special surprise. My husband, who videotapes my videos, he is going to do the first official taste test of Sharon's Backyard Bistro. So let me get him a spoon or a fork. Okay, so look at that. It's thick, it's hearty, it's very, very inexpensive to cook, and it takes literally less than 20 minutes to make. Okay, so I have a bowl of mashed potatoes, and I'm going to serve it up like that. Now you can serve the hamburger gravy with noodles over hot biscuits, pretty much with any starch type dish, and that is what you have right there. Hamburger gravy over creamed potatoes. So do you want to give it a taste test, Danny?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so here we go. Danny and I are going to switch spots, and I'm going to let him taste test it. He's my biggest critic. Good?
You treat me very good, Sharon. Thank you. Delicious.
Good. That was about half generic as swapping spots, but who cares? We're having fun anyway, right? So, if you like this recipe and you would like to see more of my recipes, please give me a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. And go over and hit the subscribe button, and you can stay tuned to more videos that I will put up each week. So until next time, you guys and gals be safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.